My name's Carlos Abrahams. I'm Technical Director at Baker Consultants. We do two main sorts of bird surveys. The first is breeding bird surveys. We normally do 3 or 4 between March and July, and wintering bird visits we'll normally do one a month between November and February. As well as those sorts of surveys, we do vantage point surveys for wind farms, where we sit in one place, just look to see which birds are flying in the area, and then have to record quite detailed information. For each of the bird surveys that we do, we always record weather conditions. To be able to do bird surveys, you need quite a few years' experience of bird watching, because there's a wide range of species that you have to be able to identify by sight, and if you're doing breeding bird surveys in the middle of summer, especially when all the leaves are on the trees, you need to be able to tell what they are from their songs or calls. In the old days, most of the data was recorded straight onto maps, and for breeding bird surveys there's a standard system of note-taking that we use, and there's also a system of arrows, circles, underlinings and different squiggles that tell you where the birds were flying from and to, and what they were doing at the time that you saw or heard them. However, nowadays we're trying to move on to electronic recording, which gives you greater consistency and also allows you to plot things straight onto a GIS map. Wild birds in the UK are legally protected when they're nesting. Developers need to be aware of that and plan their construction and site clearance activities. If they can't avoid the key nesting season, then they need to have a survey done beforehand to make sure that any bird nests that are present are avoided and those birds are allowed to fledge. As well as that, a lot of bird species are of high conservation concern because their numbers have declined over the years. Within environmental impact assessments, those will be identified as significant ecological receptors or valued ecological receptors, and will have a high sort of policy protection as well. Breeding bird surveys especially are a nice survey to do. Once you've managed to get up in the morning, you go for a nice walk in the countryside. A lot of your time is necessarily spent looking and listening. My name's Carlos Abrahams. I'm Technical Director at Baker Consultants and one of the people who does a lot of the bird survey work here.